Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back. This is going to be our tutorial for Zenith, the last city. Now, it's going to be a pretty condensed tutorial because I'm going to try and fit in as short a video as possible. So, if you're looking for anything in particular, I really urge you to use the timestamps below, and you're welcome to jump around. Or if you just want to learn all about the game, how to play it from start to finish of the tutorial, you're welcome to just keep on watching straight through it. Now, when you start your game, either on Oculus or Steam, it's going to ask you to make an account. If it's going to be your Steam account, it will ask you if you want to attach it to your Steam account. Once you get in, you're going to have to choose a shard. Now, the shards don't really matter. If you're on the West Coast, you should probably pick a West Coast shard. If you're on the East Coast, you're going to pick an East Coast shard. Now, this doesn't really matter because you can switch shards to play with anyone at any time, but there are going to be a lot of full ones. For convenience sake, I've just been playing on Crimson 3 US West. You're welcome to play with me or add me to the friends list. I don't mind playing with anyone. Now, for characters, there's going to be two different types of characters to choose from, or two different classes. There's going to be the Blademaster, and there's going to be the Mage. Now, I'll tell you all about them later. I'm just going to quickly show you how to create a character. You're going to either choose a form, whichever form you want to go with, and then you're also going to choose a customization for your head. The customization isn't massive, but there is a lot to choose from, hairstyles and everything like that, and classes and roles. So just don't worry about the role. The role doesn't matter so much. You will not be able to choose your class later. So whether you choose a Blademaster or an Essence Mage, it's up to you, but the roles at the bottom, DPS, support, or tank, each class has those three roles, and you're able to swap between them at any time during your playing. So don't worry about that. I'll tell you all about what the classes do in a little bit. All right, and then once you're in the game, you're able to move around and kind of explore and start your adventure. Now, there is a short tutorial that tells you how to move, how to talk to people, how to start quests and do everything. So I'm not going to cover that in too much detail, but what I do want to cover is the menu, all of your options, and how to kind of do the crafting, how to do the skill selection, which classes do what, and everything like that. So timestamps will be below, and for the sake of not making anyone nauseous from watching the video, whenever I'm going to be moving, it's going to be in this third-person view. If I'm not moving, I'm going to be switching to a first-person view because that way I can show you all the menu items and everything like that. All right, let's get started. All right, starting off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the UI and the HUD. If you look down, if you're a Blademaster, you're going to have your two blades here. You're also going to have your items that you can consume, and it's also going to show you your level, your skills with their cooldowns, all the skills that you have, and this is your stamina bar. The circle is your experience bar, okay? To open up your menu items, it's going to be A on the left hand. Now, I'm going to be doing this on the Knuckles controllers, but it's going to be pretty similar for Oculus as well. Now, first off, starting at the left side, you're going to have your inventory. Now, this is going to be everything that you need to know about your level, your damage, all your stats. It's also going to have all your gear and your cosmetics, as well as your general items and quest items. Now, let's just start with the character. If you're going to be on your Blademaster, which is what you're looking at, there is a left hand and right hand. If you want to equip a different weapon, you do have to click, and then you have to drag it so that it drops it on. With the chest, since there's only one chest, you can just click on it and it will switch it. In the bottom right, it has your money, how much you have. Cosmetics is just going to be extra accessories that you put on. I'm glad they kind of included the cosmetics separate from the gear. That'll be really nice because that way you're able to equip equipment, and your equipment will have a certain look, and your cosmetics will just be added benefits or bonuses on top of that look. If you look in the bottom left, it'll have your quick slot. All right. Let's take a moment and talk about Godstones. Now, whether you're going to be playing with the Blademaster or the Essence Mage, they're each going to have different abilities and different ways to play their class. Now, I would honestly say that the Blademaster is far more melee-oriented. You're going to be swinging your arms a lot. You're going to be attacking. You're going to be moving a lot more. And based on your role, which is going to be either DPS, tank, or support, you will get to be able to switch between those roles whenever you want. Now, as you currently, there is a minute downtime between switching. So, and you don't get to keep your equipment. So every time you switch classes, you'll have to re-equip all your equipment for that switch. Also, every class or every role that you level, it doesn't carry on to the other roles. So I am at level 10 support right now. By switching over to tank or DPS, it will level me back to 1 or whatever level that I am ranked up in that class. There's a lot that you can do, and I'm just going to quickly go through these. Now, the reason why the Blademaster is more melee oriented is because they do have a dash button. So basically, just by holding your thumbstick forward and moving, whether you're depressing that thumbstick a little bit or all the way forward and moving faster or slower, you're going to blink based on how hard you're pushing the dash forward down. You can also blink backwards, blink to the side. So it's kind of nice to have that. The downward cadence is basically just every 3 strikes, 2, 3 in a vertical downward vertically. That will activate your God skill, and in this case, that will be Celestial Strike. Now, for the horizontal cadence, that would be horizontal strikes to the sides. Next up, you're going to have the downward power strike, and this is going to be activated from basically holding down your trigger while you're attacking. The other thing is going to be the horizontal power strike. This is again holding down your attack while you are holding down your thumbstick. They also have an ultimate attack, and if you scroll down, there's actually more. There is a weapon throw. Now, the weapon throw is really nice because for support, it's Consecration, which gives you like a healing area of effect. And I'm pretty sure that for the DPS or tank, they're going to do different things. But basically, if you have to grip your weapon, when you throw it, you just let go of your grip, and it creates the area wherever you throw it. You do get your weapon back, so it's more of just like a skill activation. They also have things like Perfect Parry, which is just by parrying. Master Strike is by holding the trigger after power strike to activate, and each of these are going to do different things. You also have passive abilities, which is really nice, so that you can have even more customization. The incredible thing here is that if you look for all your Godstones, you're going to have the ability to switch between 3 different ones for each role. So whether you pick a Blademaster or an Essence Mage, there is a lot of customization, but the real main takeaway is do you want to be more melee oriented or do you want to attack far away? If you are going to have a lot of motion sickness, you may want to lean more towards the Essence Mage. It goes even further than that though. Let's just look at the dash, the Protector's Vow. Now you're going to be able to do your Soul Forge. Now this is basically just selecting a upgrade for them. If you look at my Burning Brand, I am able to choose between so many different ones of these, and I'm able to upgrade them. So if you look at this, it will basically change the stats based on what upgrades that I do. And upgrades is based on how much experience you have with it. Okay, so you're able to do either, you'll see these primals or the savages will increase the critical power, increase the power scaling. And then if you can even find unique ones of these Godstones for your class. And if you equip the unique one and up, you'll be able to get the major upgrades. So there's a ton of customization here. There's so much to do. There's so much to play. And the fact that when you're switching your roles, you have to level them all over again, really encourages you to play, not just get to the end game with one class and be max rank for all your max level for all your roles, but it'll encourage you to go back, keep your old equipment, because to be honest, once you switch your role, you can only use like equipment that's one level above you. Now, next what I'm going to look at is the Essence Mage. All right, here are the Godstones for the Essence Mage. Now, this character in this class does more so have, they do have a movement ability, but this one is basically a teleport, which is activated by this arrow. It doesn't just blink right you to wherever you're aiming. So this is a little bit more friendly for motion sickness, and their skills will still activate on the movement. Now, for this one, it more so works on gestures. You can definitely charge your weapons and shoot. They do get these 2 blasters. By charging them, they do more powerful attacks, but they do have 6 charges for their attack. They can either use them fast or they can use them slowly, and they slowly recharge. Now, your HUD's going to have everything that you need to know for how much everything costs and the cooldown of them, but really we're looking at the Godstones here. Now, when you do have to do some gestures, this is going to be put your weapons away, and you're going to want to just use your grips here. Now, gesture down is basically just performing a grip and then pressing down. And this will activate area of effect spells and the such that will create like ice storms. Gesture up will create healing areas. And then they even have gesture, well, if I have the manifold. There we go. And this will create speed spells. So there's a lot of gesture activities. So you have gesture down, gesture horizontal, and gesture up. They also have a trigger one. Now, this is pretty simple. Just by clicking the trigger with your index finger, you will activate the skill. Now, this hydrosplat can be tossed as far as you want, or it can be just dumped right on you, and it can create a healing area. You also have an ultimate, and then you also have your weapon abilities. Now, it's really nice that it doesn't have as much as the other class, but that's because I truly believe that the Essence Mage is really, really, really powerful. I like this, but you do have 1 and 2 weapons and then other, so you're going to be able to just fire piercing Aether that hits enemies for weapon damage and heals allies. So you're going to have different options for that. And then, of course, if you click on them, it'll let you choose between them, which is nice. And as you go up here, again, it'll have the same stuff for the Soul Forge. And that pretty much covers the Godstones portion. Remember, though, that you will be able to choose between DPS, tank, and support with each class. So it's more so around the ability of the choice of which character do you want to make. Because you will create a different character, and this is my other character that I've made, but I don't get to keep any of my items. I would like to see I don't believe they have it, would be a chest or like an account chest or something like that where you can keep all your items and store them so that multiple characters could have access to that, because they did announce a third class, the Ninja, which is going to be just another thing that now everyone will want to switch to the Ninja to try it out, and you're not going to have access to any of your Enhancement Dust, crafting materials, and that's just a shame. So I do hope they add that in the future. For the next portion, I brought you to the city, and right off of the center plaza, there is the crafting area and the cooking area. Now, from here, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to make foods that you can consume that will also add buffs and benefits to you. Now, part of your third tab is your life skills. This includes cooking and gathering. Gathering is very simple. When you're out in the world, you are going to find little crystals or little sparkles floating up from items on the ground. By pointing at it and getting within like 5 feet, about 5 feet in real terms, you're going to be able to just grip, and it will grab the item and bring it to you. You then just bring it to your chest, and it will pick it up. You're going to be able to choose to make a bunch of different things. Now, how do you get these recipes? Well, that's pretty simple. You can either go to Brim, and he will have quests for you where you'll be able to go out, you're going to be able to gather stuff, and when you bring it back to him, he'll have you make the things into certain foods. So when you do get a recipe, it will show up as a little book in your inventory. Instead of clicking on it with the trigger button, you're going to actually grip it with your grip button. That will actually pull the book out and to look into something physical. By looking at the object, then holding down the grip button, you'll actually learn the recipe for it, and you'll be able to make it. Looking back at your life skills area, you'll have something called Toggle Station, okay? And you'll have all your craftings that you'll be able to do. Let's say we select orange creamsicle smoothie or baked cookies. Let's select baked cookies, and you hit the Toggle Station. A nice little station will appear that allows you to craft it. Now, don't worry, this isn't too intimidating, and I will help you through it. So to craft something, it's very simple. Let's say you want to make the cookies. Well, here it says, it'll tell you, warm up the milk in the pot. It's a little glitch for me, but you're going to want to first put in your fuel. So you take your fuel, they start you off with a basic one. The different fuels will do different things. So you'll just put it in there like this, and it will start up, and it'll look like it's actually activated. Don't worry, you can't run out of the basic fuel. Here, you grab the milk, you just put the milk in. For the flour, it's going to tell you to put it in the skillet. And the sugar, it's going to tell you just put directly in the cauldron. And then it'll tell you that it's been secured. Once it finishes cooking, you're basically just going to put all the ingredients in the cauldron, and it'll tell you that it's done. Then, once it's all in there, voila, it instantly finishes, and you have your cookie. Now, you could eat it right away, or you could just put it on your chest and it'll put it in your inventory. Remember, if you want to switch your items, you'll have to go into your inventory and then switch which quick slot that you want for it. After you're done, you're able to just turn off the station. Now, the smoothies are a little bit different. This one basically is, once again, cooking your milk in the pot. So put your stuff in there, okay? Cook up the milk. But for this one, it has you cut an orange. So by gripping your knife, you're able to just cut it into 8 pieces. Now, don't worry. When it's done, it will just poof, and you'll be able to just grab it all and put it in there to finish. Once you put all the ingredients in, it's done. And there you have it, your orange creamsicle smoothie. When you toggle off the station, you're just going to be able to look in your inventory and all of your stuff will be there, and you're able to switch which quick slot tools, quick slot foods you want. You can either do... and there, you can have 2 activated at once, and you'll be able to hover over them and look at them and then grab them. And then if you want to consume them, pull them up to your hand or your mouth, and it will just automatically eat it. Don't let go. You don't have to worry about that. And then the gathering section just tells you how many, it tells you how many times you've gathered them and the effects that they have if you consume them alone without anything. And that's basically it for the life skills. Moving on, next we're going to look at the party situation, or the social bar. Social bar is pretty simple. You have your friends, you have your party, and you're able to add friends. So you're actually able to add friends or just interact with people by holding down the grips without anything. Just by pointing it at someone, it'll ask you if you want to add them as a friend, invite to party. You can even cancel what you're doing, or you can avoid them or basically block them. By creating a party, you can essentially just invite other people to your party, and it'll have your party management right here. It'll tell you their names and their accounts. And that's basically it for the social. Next up, we have the guild selection. Now, you can actually create a guild, you can get invites from guild, and then you're able to talk specifically to them in the options. I'll get to that when I get to that, but this is just the guild menu. Not much to talk about unless you are interested in creating a guild. The world map is next. Now, this basically is really convenient because it shows you how big the world is. This is not just a 10-hour game or even a 20-hour game. This is going to be a lot here, and I'm really glad that they're going to be adding more to this game as it goes on. So you're able to actually look at all the fast travel locations. You'll unlock fast travel locations when you basically finish the quests in the area, their story quests. The characters that are giving the quests will unlock as fast travel locations. You'll be able to just go there. You also have your main major, your public events that you're able to look at, and your side quests will show up. So this is just a really helpful menu that shows you all of this stuff. You're also able to zoom in if you want and just show you more closer of the area if you need in region mode. And that's basically it for the world map. Next up, we're going to be discussing the quest journal. Now, quest journal is pretty simple. You click on the quest journal, you can see your main stories, you can see your hunts that you're part of, the adventures, the group quests, and then by clicking on them, you can actually unfollow them. Or by clicking on them, you can abandon them if you'd like. Just like every MMORPG, you can basically just, you can track them. And I'll show you how to track it in just a minute once we get to the HUD. Next up is the comfort settings. Now, like I said before, you can even choose, when you're starting the game, you can choose smooth locomotion or comfort settings. That just shows you the default that you're going to load to. You can actually customize everything in here. Now, no matter what you're doing, you're able to choose between smooth locomotion, a vignette between anywhere from 10% to 100%, where basically when you're moving, a cone will appear around your head, or out of body. This is really weird. So let me just show you the out of body. The out of body just means that when you move your body like this, you basically are just watching yourself. Now, this is nice if you don't mind just kind of blinking. There's no teleport in the game. It's an out of body experience where you basically are able to move. Very immersion breaking, but if you have severe motion sickness, this is probably going to be perfect for you. And again, you can choose that for all of them, for climbing, for gliding, or you can do vignetting on all of them. And there's just a lot of choices. You can even do a out of body or third person on or blackout if you're falling, so that you don't see anything. A lot of people feel like the falling is jarring, but I think they do a really good job of falling in this game. At the bottom, they have jumping and camera shake, and you can have camera shake if you want extra effects. The focus UI just means that when you pull up this menu, everything around you turns black. The streamer settings, they have default smooth first person or third person. when I'm moving around, I'm going to be showing you the third person, which basically looks just like this, where you're able to actually see your character, and just by turning is how you're going to turn the camera. Very helpful for doing videos or moving around. It's going to be a lot easier to watch for people. Volume settings. This is extremely simple. If you're part of a party or a guild, it will have its selected party here, so that by having it selected, you will only talk to the people in your party. And then below that, you'll have guild. When you're in a guild, it will talk to only people in the guild, or you could talk to global. The voice volume is incoming voice volume, and then here you can just make this volume levels on the dialogue, the music, and sound effects. Very simple. Moving on, we have our logout area. Now, this is just basically tells you how much HP and rage you have. Rage is basically your magic abilities, attack, support, defense, speed, everything like that. Tells you your level, your experience. You're able to exit the game from there. It also tells you your shard here and your name and what class you are. And then the last one is the graphics. For the PSVR, even on high, this game, it looks okay. I wish they would increase it even more. I have everything maxed out on a 3080. So just basically, if you have a little bit more of a potato computer, you can just go even lower and make sure that it works for you. At the bottom of here of your screen, you're going to have the mute button. Now, if you ever log out and log back in, this will always reset. So if you're worried about having other people hear you or hearing other people, you can always just click this for the global selection, and it will either allow people to hear you or not. Moving on, now I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the tips and that you can do when you're first starting the game and moving around and things like that. The game does a good job of telling you how to do the quests and everything like that, so that's not a problem. Just remember that on your left hand, if you'd like to look at your you'll get a little bit of a HUD that will pop up by clicking the B button on your left hand. This is really helpful because it shows everything around you. This little thing will show you your party members in green. It will show you quest turn-ins in green as well. Little chests will show up, so you really want to watch this a lot. And like I was saying before, if you don't want something tracked, you can turn it off in that journal area. That will turn off so that you don't see it up here. But as it will kind of guide you to these areas, and little yellow objects will show up. That is your quest destinations. So it's very helpful. I would recommend always keeping it on. The game does a pretty good job teaching you how to play the game, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't tell you the small details. Now, what I'm going to teach you here real quick is it'll tell you how to climb. You basically just climb like you would normally climb something. But what they don't tell you is that you can actually climb anything you want to climb. As long as you have stamina, which is what it costs to climb and glide, you're able to climb anything, even rocks, buildings, and you can even scoot yourself up on top of these buildings like this so that you can get up here and you can glide off of buildings. You can see these things that allow you to just take up, the tutorial will teach you how to do this, but what they don't teach you a lot of times is how to manage gliding. Gliding is done by T-posing, okay, with your body. You can fall by letting go, and these updrafts will give you some benefit of adding stamina to you. Now, the nice thing about this is that you're able to manage your fall by basically, when you're starting to run out of stamina, by falling, you will either regain or manage your stamina and not lose it. But then you can kind of flap your arms a little bit, and it really helps by falling so that you don't take too much fall damage. The next thing that I want to teach you about is moving. Now, sprint is an interesting thing. They don't have a toggle for always sprinting in this game. So what they do have is they have the ability so that when you click down your thumbstick, it will start you to sprint. This doesn't waste any stamina or anything like that. So essentially what you do is you're moving forward, and by clicking the thumbstick button on your left hand, it will start you into a sprint. Now, provided that you are moving in a direction and you're still moving, you don't have to hold down the thumbstick. It just toggles it with a simple click. But you do have to keep moving. Once you stop moving, you are no longer running anymore. So basically, as long as you start moving, click the thumbstick, it will start you into moving and running, and then you can just keep moving around like that. On the topic of movement, you can actually move faster in water by, that's right, physically swimming. If you actually wave your arms while in the water, it will move you faster, but it does take some stamina, so that's important to remember. Public events will show up as a big red beam of light basically coming out of the sky down on a location. Now, anyone is able to participate in these events, and if you look and you have your HUD open while you have your B button selected, it will actually show you how many enemies are left, the time is left, and it will actually show you as well in front of you on the in the game. Once you complete the event, you will get some bonus, and you'll get some Zen for it, which allows you to craft later. Once the event is finished, it stops, and it actually is on a normal rotation. They do encourage you to actually tag as many enemies as possible, because just by tagging the enemy, you have a chance of getting experience from it and loot. So don't ever worry about, like stealing something from someone. It's just important just that you tag it so that you can get credit for it, even in events. What I want to quickly mention is the combat. Just based on the staggering of enemies, that's really what I want to discuss. When you're engaging in enemies, you're going to see when you fight them that they're going to have their health above them, and then they're going to have a little bar below that, which is their stagger bar. Now, once you hit that stagger bar, you're going to be able to do 200% additional damage. So that's really something to look for when you're fighting enemies, is that you're going to see their stagger bar, which is really when you want to start putting on the damage. There you go. And then it also slightly stuns them for a moment. There it is. See, staggered, and then he's stuck not moving. We're also going to talk about crafting. So around the world, don't worry, they will tell you during the course of your journey and quest, they're going to tell you how to craft, but they don't really explain too much on it. So when you walk up to one of these locations, you are going to want to select your class or whatever you want to make. Now, since I'm a mage, I'm just going to make a level 7. I'm going to make a level 7 Galian Grasps. Now, basically, there's two different things. If you look at the first one, this is Zen. This is, the Zen is your money, but you're going to have something above it, these little starry things. This is from completing events. As you complete public events around you, you are going to get this ingredient. Now, the horns are basically from those sylphids that are at the start of the fractured plains. So basically, just by killing mobs in the area or monsters in the area, you're going to get that one. So when you're able to farm enough of them, you're actually able to start crafting it. Now, how do you start crafting it? Well, once you have it selected, you have enough ingredients, you hit that green button right there, and it will pop up in front of you. Then what's going to happen is it's going to show you how much you have of each material, and you're basically just going to take it and put it up there until it fills it up. Once it's done, it will appear as an item, and you can basically just take it and put it in your inventory where you can equip it. And that's basically just how to craft. As you gain levels, different areas, we're going to have different crafting areas. And by the food area where we were talking about the cooking, that has level 40 stuff, which has a lot of high-level gear. So just based on when you're ready to craft something, you do get loot from enemies in the game, which is nice. But I feel like the crafting loot is just a little bit higher quality. It's a little bit higher quality because this one has something called Essence Flow, which increases your resource regeneration, which is really helpful. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about Enhancement Dust. Now, Enhancement Dust is something that you can gather either from chests around the world, or what you can do is you can open up your inventory and you are actually able to break down old items into Enhancement Dust. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to show you a level 6 Galian Steel Toes. You just grab it with your trigger and you drag it all the way to the Enhancement Dust. It's going to say, warning, are you sure you want to scrap the selected item? Then we'll give you Enhancement Dust. You hit accept and then you get some Enhancement Dust. So this is useful really because what happens is eventually you're going to get to the point, like, let's say that you are getting to a little bit higher level and you want to increase your equipment. You don't want to get new equipment. You have some of the best equipment, or you just need help leveling in an area. Well, you come to one of these stations, and whether you have it equipped or not, you'll be able to left click on it, and it'll show up here. It'll tell you how much Zen that it's going to cost. It's going to show you the item, how much Enhancement Dust for for use enhanced items from level 1 through 5 is the basic Enhancement Dust, so that you can at least use enough of it. Even if you keep farming that basic level Enhancement Dust, you'll be able to get your items up to that level 5. Once you get up higher than that, 5 to 8 is the Super Enhancement Dust, and then 9 and 10 is the Mega Enhancement Dust, which is nice because it kind of scales. It's going to be less likely that you're going to want to, or need to currently, at least from the looks of it, get that 9 to 10 because it'll be just something special that you get. After that, it'll show you this, and from here, it'll say that it'll add +1. Now, +1 what? Well, it's based on the item. You can see that the primary stat is 6, but if you look at this, it says +1, and it adds it up to 7. So it does make it better, the item, depending on if you want to spend the Enhancement Dust. Now, what I did is I've created an item. I've already added Enhancement Dust to something that didn't add anything. So if you look at my left hand here, this one says +1. Its primary stat was 2, so you're going to want to make sure that it actually is adding something. Otherwise, you're just going to be wasting your Enhancement Dust, enhancing something that's just not worth it. All right. The next thing you're going to want to be looking out for when you're out gathering for stuff are these tiers. Now, these tiers are great because what they allow you to do is get Aetheric upgrades. And this is going to upgrade things like your stamina. So what you're going to want to do is just grab them. They don't have a ability to grab them from afar. You actually have to physically grab them. And they put them in some positions which make them a little bit harder to get. But once you get them and you get the quest to upgrade them, you'll have to just return them to your you'll return the quest and you'll get the upgrade. And when you return to the shrine, it'll say, hey, congratulations, you can complete this quest for your Aetheric upgrade. And if you look at your stats, my stamina went from 10 to 11. Now, stamina is important for climbing, gliding, and sprinting, and the more you have, the longer you can go without regenning, which is really nice. So this is another thing that you want to look for when you're out gathering. All right, and that about does it. Now, that's as basic as I can make the tutorial. I'm pretty sure there's still a lot to do in the game and explain and everything like that, but this should help you get started so that you kind of have a basic understanding of how the menu works, the skills work, which class you want to play, and how to glide, how to climb, how to find stuff out there so that you can collect it and really just get the whole, you can get the basic feel of the game so that you can get used to it, so that you're not overwhelmed. There's actually a lot more to the game that I could go into, but I don't want to make this video any longer. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. And if you have any questions whatsoever, or you'd like to see additional content on anything, put that in the comments below so that I know what the community wants. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want more like it, reviewing and playing co-op multiplayer games, tutorials, please consider subscribing and letting me know in the comments below what you like. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next game.